All right, mathematicians, welcome back. We're going to continue our work with equations through hands-on equations, and today's focus is going to be on lesson number 4. All right, if you remember from our previous lesson, we started to introduce the idea of a legal move. And a legal move is just a move that we've agreed upon that we can take that will not unbalance the equation. So let's look just in general at an example. Going back to how we started, we're going to start with just the pawns or the triangles. All right, so I have 2 pawns and a 4 balanced with a 10. So some of us at this point may have been guessing and checking, but others of us probably have started to develop a strategy similar to what we were doing with the pawns. If you remember, legal move number 1 was that we could take the same number of pawns from both sides and it would maintain balance because we knew that the pawns or the triangles always have the same weight. Here we can't just remove our block because we can see that our blocks are not equal in value. For example, this block is 4, this block is 10. But what we can do is we can look at, well, how can I break apart some of my numbers? So I could actually start by exchanging the 10 or taking it off and replacing it with something of equal value. So in this case, I might replace it with a 4 and a 6. Now, even though the 10 is no longer there, the equation is balanced because 4 and 6 together make 10, so it still maintains that balance. And now at this point, I could remove the 4 from the left, remove the 4 from the right, and now I've removed things of equal weight, leaving me with 2 pawns on the left side and the 6 on the right side. And I can ask myself, well, what 2 times equals 6? Well, that would be 3. So my pawn is equal to 3. So we can go through and we can do our check. So in this case, it would be 3 plus 3 plus 4 has to equal 10 because that was our original balance. 3 plus 3 is 6, plus 4 is 10, so 10 equals 10. Everything checks out. So legal move number 2. All right. All right. This legal move is telling me that I can subtract the same number value from both sides of an equation and maintain balance. so that's our legal move number 2, which we just talked about. So let's look at an example now using that legal move. So if, for example, I had the equation 4x plus 5 is the same as or is equal to 2x plus 13. I'm going to start by drawing out my pawns. That's going to be balanced. All right, so legal move number 1 is that I can remove the same number of pawns. So I'm going to start with that. So right now, I can remove 2 pawns from both sides, leaving me with 2 pawns and a 5. And then on the right hand side, just with 13. Now I wouldn't have had to start with the pawns, but I just typically like to start with the pawns because that was legal move number 1. Now I have my 2 blocks that aren't the same weight, but as we talked about, I could take that 13 and I could exchange it for blocks that are of equal weight when put together. So for me, I would break this into 5 and 8. And now that I have a 5 block on both sides, I can go ahead and remove the 5. So now I have, oops, two pawns on the left side, or 2 triangles, and an 8 on the other side. So now I know that my pawn is equal to 4. Once again, I can go through and check. Take 4 times 4 plus 5 has to equal 2 times 4 plus 13. So now when I look at this, this becomes 16 plus 5 has to equal 8 plus 13, or 21 is equal to 21. So it goes ahead and checks. All right, so if you feel comfortable with this, you can go ahead and stop the video and start your notes, but I'm also going to go through one more example for those of you that would like to go through another one. All right. All right. For our last example, we're going to have oops, 2x plus x plus x plus 2 is the same as 2x plus 10. So why don't you go ahead and pause the video and draw out your balance and see how you do using your legal moves, and then check. All right, so as we go through this, 2x means I'm going to have my 2 pawns plus another pawn plus another pawn plus 2 needs to be balanced with 2 triangles or 2 pawns Okay, so when I am looking at this, okay, you can start with either the pawns or the numbers, whichever is more comfortable for you. Like I said, I usually start with the pawns. So I'm going to look at, I can take away 2 pawns from the left, 2 pawns from the right, and that's going to leave me with the triangle, 2 triangles and a 2 on the left side and a 10 on the right. I'm going to regroup since my blocks aren't of equal weight. I'm going to exchange my 10 for a 2 and an 8. And if you notice, I basically always make one of my blocks equal to what it is on the other side. You wouldn't have to, you could do ones, you could do any combination, but I just like to keep things simple that way. So it's kind of just whatever works best for you. Now I can remove a 2 from both sides, leaving us with 2 triangles on the left with the 8 on the right, meaning that our triangle is equal to 4. All right, we can go ahead and do our check. So this is going to be 2 times 4 plus 4 plus 4 plus 2. It's going to be 2 times 4 plus 10. So 8 plus 4 plus 4 plus 2 is equal to 8 plus 10. Right side is 18. 4 plus 4 is 8, plus 8 is 16, plus 2 more is 18, and that checks out. As always, message me if you have a video. Don't forget to like this video and share it if you find it helpful. Otherwise, just check in with me through Schoology.